Hello, my name is Kindson the Genius. You can always find me in www.kindsonthegenius.com, and my intention is for you to learn programming this first quarter of 2019. So let's get started with tutorial 6. We've covered tutorial 5. A whole lot of people have been learning and following this tutorial, so please just make sure you follow along as we go. I want to remind you to subscribe to my channel by clicking on the subscribe button below this video right now. If you subscribe to my channel, then you get updates when I make new lessons, and also you kind of motivate me to continue to make this lesson. So just click on this red button, the subscribe button below this video to get subscribed. So let's start with the first one, while loop. The interesting thing about loops in Python is it is extremely, amazingly easy to use. Basically, you can just write 2 lines of code to loop through several numbers or objects in Python. Let's print out 1 to 10. That is the easiest way to just do it. Let's write a loop that prints out 1 to 10 using the while loop. So simply say for I in range. So it's as simple as this, 1 to 10, and then print I. How easy it is. When I learned this, I couldn't believe it's this easy. So it's as simple as this. It prints out 1 to 10. But there's something I'll let you know. It prints out 1 to 9. So that is one thing you want to bear in mind. When you have a loop in Python, the while loop, the last number is not inclusive. So if you actually want to print out 1 to 10, you actually do from I in range 1 to 11. In that way, it prints out one number before the last number. So that is one thing you need to take note of, because that can be a problem, especially when you are sitting for a quiz or an exam. The last number always is not printed. Alright, so this is how to use the while loop. Maybe we can try to, I don't know if we can use it to print out the alphabet from A to Z. Let me just try, but I've not tried to use it before. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. So it expects to print an integer, so it doesn't work. So how do we use the for loop? Okay, we actually use the for loop. Okay, so let's do the same thing this time using the while loop. Let's print out 1 to 10. So how do we do this using the while loop? The while loop is also as easy. But in case of the while loop, you need to declare I before you start looping. So you say I is equal to 0. And you say while I is less than or equal to 10. And then we can now print I, right? So are you following? If not, you can just pause the video and try to understand how it works. Take note that for the while line, the line that contains the while statement, you always have a semicolon. And also if you have the line that contains the for statement, you also have a colon. I mean, not a semicolon, but a colon. So if I go ahead to run this code, it's going to enter into what is called an infinite loop, a loop that doesn't actually end, because we have that since I is less than 10, it continues to print. So we can just, each time it prints 1, we need to increase I to one value more. So you can say I is equal to I plus 1. So to write this in a shorthand form, you can simply take out the first I like this, and then interchange the plus and the equal sign. So instead of equal to plus, you have plus equal to 1. So if I run this code, it does exactly the same thing. So this one you can see it is inclusive because we specifically mentioned I is less than or equal to 10. Alright, so that is about a loop. So let's try to do a nested loop this time. So let's loop from I is equal to 1 to 10. So we also want to loop in between. Let's say for I is equal to 0, we want to loop j to loop from 1 to 5. So in that way, we have for 0, we have 1 to 5. For 1, we have 1 to 5, and so on and so forth. So let's try to do that and see how it goes. Alright, so we have for I is equal to less than or equal to 1 to 10, and I'm going to then say while let me use a for loop inside the while loop for j in range, this time 1 to 6. Okay, so what am I going to print? I'm going to print I. I'm going to print I here, print I. And then inside the internal loop, I'm going to print j, right? So I is equal to I plus 1 is going to increase at this point. So I'm going to run it, and after which I'm going to explain what is happening in this loop. So let's run it to see what happens. All right, so let's see if it works. So let's start from the first one. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it will be a bit confusing. It's actually 0, 1, 2, 3. So what I'm going to do is to print out, maybe I'll try to print the internal loop in a single line. I have print line. Okay, it doesn't seem to get print line. Okay, so basically this is how nested loop works. So as I mentioned, we have 1 to 5, we have 1 to 5, we have 1 to 5. So for 0 you have 1 to 5, for 1 you have 1 to 5, for 2 you have 1 to 5, and so on. So that is basically how nested loops work. Now there is something called the loop control statement. It's either break, continue, or pass. So if you have a loop and you don't want to write anything inside, you can just use a pass statement. For instance, if I run this code, I'll have an error. But assuming I didn't have what to write inside this loop, but I still want to have this loop to be here, I can just say pass. So at this point, it's not going to generate any error at all, right? So pass statement is a statement that tells the program to ignore every other thing that follows the loop statement. So if you have while statement, so whatever is here is expecting to have something here, but it's not here. It's going to just ignore everything in the body of this loop. So that is how the pass statement works. So it seems I'm jumping across too. So let's look at the break statement. Let's assume that we are printing 1 to 10. Let me get this one back. So let's assume we are printing 1 to 10, but when it gets to 5, we want the loop to terminate. Then in that case, we want to use the break statement, right? So let's see. So if I equal to 5, I'm going to break. So at this point, what is going to happen? Colon expected. Which I already have. Colon expected y. While I is equal, if I is equal to 5, then break. Let's try to run it to see. Loops is not allowed. Oh, wow. Stop. Okay, so we have some kind of error here. If I is equal to 5, why is it saying colon expected? Alright, so okay, yeah. So basically we have that this should be a conditional statement. So we are actually going to say is I equal to 5. So instead of saying if I is equal to 5, one single equal sign means you are assigning 5 to I. But if I equal to 5, you need to use a comparison operator to create a conditional statement. That is I equal to 5, meaning that if I actually has a value of 5, not that I is equal to 5. I hope you're following. So if I run this code, we're also getting into an infinite loop, and I'm going to stop it. And I guess you understand why, because we don't have I increase at this point. So let's increase I is equal to I plus 1. So at this point, I is going to be increasing from 0. So let's see. Okay, we need a print statement. Let's say print statement. Okay, let's put a print statement here. All right. So let's run it. So at this point, we have just 0 to 5. If it gets to 5, it sees that I is equal to 5, it's going to break. So that is how the break statement works. The continue statement works like the break statement, but it actually makes the code to ignore every other thing that comes after the continue statement and continue in the next iteration. So let's use the continue statement to make it not print 5, but print every other thing. So if it encounters a continue statement, it's going to quickly jump out or not execute the rest of the loop and just jump out. So if I is equal to 5, let's say continue. All right. So meanwhile, I'm going to use a print statement, print I. So what is going to happen at this point is, once I is equal to 5, it's actually going to jump this print statement and continue executing. So we'll have a situation where it print 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 6. It continues on 6. So let's see. Right, so I think shift this continue to this place. I is equal to 5, so just a second. Okay, so I think we're getting stuck. I'm going to solve this problem in the next lesson. So let's quickly do the guessing game, right? Because in every tutorial I have a project to give you. So let's build a guessing game in the short time that we have left. So we have a user is going to be imputing value, trying to guess a number that we have assumed. If he gets it correctly, then he wins. So to do that, I'm simply going to assume a number. I'm going to say let's call it secret is equal to 7. So I'll continue to loop through, asking the user to enter a number provided he doesn't get the secret. So I'm going to say while inputs say please enter number. So this while statement here has an input the user enters. So while whatever the user enters is not equal to secret, right? So while it's not equal to secret, we are going to print enter number. So, So once what the user enter is equal to the secret, is going to exit from this loop, and I'm going to tell the user you win. So this is a basic guessing game using a loop, right? So let's run it. We are having some issue. Let's stop this. So while input enter a number is not equal to secret, then we have please enter a number is going to continue to loop through, displaying enter a number until he enters the correct number. So let's run it to see how it goes. So please enter a number 6. So it says enter a number, but this time is 2 times. I'm going to just take out this. So print. Okay, so I'm going to take out the first one. Alright, so I'm going to stop it and run it a second time. So let's say 5. So enter a number 6, enter a number 7. So while inputs is not equal to secret, so have so this I'm going to explain because I'm running out of time. I'm going to stop it and run it again. I'm going to enter 6. This time I'm entering 7, so it says you win. So actually I use the int to convert the input to an integer, right? So that is why. So you need to convert it to an integer before you can compare it with the secret. So let's run through it again. The first time it displays please enter a number. So let me just display that outside the loop. So say please enter a number. All right. So when the code executes, it displays to the user please enter a number. Then it checks is the number entered equal to the secret. If it's not, then it displays please enter a number, right? Good. So let's see. I'm going to run it. Please enter a number. I enter 6. Doesn't work. 89. It doesn't work. And now I enter 7. So it works. So it says you win and the program exits. So try to play around this. Maybe you pause the video, try to understand how it actually works, and then we continue in the next tutorial. I'll see you in the next tutorial, and I would like to thank you for viewing.